Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another show. My name is Tyler, and I'm here with Matt, the founder of ORATS. ORATS is an options analytics platform built on top of over 15 years of historical options data. Our dashboard is integrated with Tradier, meaning you can research and discover trades on our platform and then seamlessly send them through to your Tradier brokerage account. Today on the show, we're going to show you how we reveal our systematic approach to generating trade ideas. Matt, can you get us started by sharing your screen?
Sure, yeah, thanks, Tyler. Well, this has been a long time coming, and we're really excited about doing this. We've listened to our clients, and everyone wants to get to the trade ideas quicker. And ORATS always wants to use all the best data and the best techniques and such. So we've married that approach, and we've come up with a way to find trade ideas that's based on our systematic approach here that I'd like to go through today, Tyler.
All right. Why don't you get us started by sharing the 4 different ways that we present the trade ideas on that tab there?
Sure. So our trade ideas, like, how do you generate them, right? So the first way, our backtest finder has 339 million, that's million, pre-run backtests. And that's the first thing we do. We start off with searching through those backtests to find the backtests that are in the markets right now. So we'll talk about that in a little bit too. The second is the curated strategies. Curated strategies are strategies that we put out that we have tested and think would make a good strategy listing for our clients. The third way is a very long list here, are the strategies that an individual user might like. And I go in and I pick out a lot of strategies and I optimize them, and we'll talk about what that means in a little bit. And then just our old standby, our option scan. So we have a bunch of option scans that we've developed that we have templates for, but also ones that I've made. For example, you could go in, so no options were found there. That means that the filters are too much there. But you could go through and click on your various option scans, and this is just a very nice summarized place to get your information, so you don't have to be jumping around, and you can just get right into a trade. As a matter of fact, if you click on it, it goes right to the trade, and you can send it to paper trading or one of your accounts that trader that we have listed. And then there's a lot of information here. You could jump to the option chain, trade builder, trade history. All of these we've talked about in other shows, but it just is a nice place to start and to get into everything else and get trading, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm really liking the new tab. It's, we've heard a lot of feedback from our customers about, where we want more trade ideas. And, we have them coming from all these different sources. And so we've consolidated them here for you, and you can sort of go from there. So why don't we go over the backtest finder stuff first, and because that kind of bleeds into what curated strategies do and how they work.
Right. So there is a backtest finder under the backtest tab. So I could go into the backtest tab. I have some saved backtests, but here are all of the backtests. So this is the backtest. We call it the backtest finder because you could sort through, percent of time in the market, annual return, what it's ranked by. I mean, there's just, it's just an amazing table, and for you to find backtests that explicitly match, all the factors that you would want for the strategy. So what we do is we go through all these, we actually do a selected number of ETFs and stocks, and select a number of strategies on the back end and throw them into the trade ideas I should actually point out one of the big things is in the backtest finders, we have this thing called entry triggers. So with entry triggers in our backtest, we test things like only trade in a low VIX environment, moderate, high. Right now, it's considered moderate because VIX is between 15 and 20. Only trade when the SMA is above or in a certain spot, below or above, where the RSI is oversold or overbought. IV percentile are in these ranges. Slope percentile, that's the skew, how much the puts are above the calls. And so where these C's are, that's the current market. So RSI is overbought, for example. And what we'll do is we'll only show back tests that meet these criteria. Is the stock above the 50-day? Is the IV percentage low? And then we will show these in the trade ideas. Was that clear enough for that part, Tyler?
Yeah, so the trade ideas is essentially our system is applying the entry trigger current environment filter. Or you could actually do that in the backtest finder itself, right? And that's all the trade ideas system is doing, is it's basically being like a person and applying those filters to the backtest finder. And does it apply a few more, like to the time and market and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, it also applies. Yeah, it has to be a certain amount of minimum time in the market. We have some defaults for that, but it also will apply the strike widths, and it'll apply, like if we have any spread divided by stock, it'll figure that out. So what that is for some of these back tests, not this one in particular since it says none, but we'll have, hey, what the price of this call calendar or whatever needs to be within this range that we set, and then we could trade it. So the trade finder like goes through all that for you, so which is really cool. You don't have to set up an option scan or whatever. It just comes in. So I mean, I know that you worked a lot on automating that, putting it on the back end, making it run fast, and so it's just, users could just come in now and see all these trades in there.
Yeah, and the very unique thing about ORATS trade ideas versus other platforms is that you can see the backtest results in the backtest finder table. So if there's some trade specific results right there, like the price and the probability of profit, but if you scroll over to the right, or you can even click on it. If you click on it, the view backtest, like Matt just did, it pops up the whole backtest returns, which is really neat. I mean, it's being able to see the backtest returns of that trade idea is really important.
Yeah, it's so convenient, and it's nice to have here. And then what I like to do too, this is, you could even go farther, Tyler. Like what I like to do is come into this, and since we have so many here, like how do you choose between these, right? So first of all, I know what my positions are, so I'm a little short in the market, so I want to get like maybe a little long, so like a long call calendar is kind of good. And so, but I could also I could sort on a number of different factors here. So like I could sort right now on Sharpe ratio. Sharpe ratio is your return divided by the volatility there. But I could also look at just the margin return. What's the biggest margin return? Or I like to go by our forecast edge. So ORATS makes a forecast, and that's called a theoretical value when you turn it into a dollar amount. And then you compare that dollar amount to the price of the actual trade. So, so we could look at that. And so we have a distribution edge, which we make a distribution and calculate an expected return based on that. We calculate a forecast edge, but then the smooth edge is usually right near the market. So the market of the smooth market is right near what the price is of the mid market. That's because we draw a smooth line through all the strikes, so that's usually going to be close. But the distribution, that's based on like 10 years of putting all the returns for the same amount of time. So this is a 60-day time period for this particular strategy. And so we'll go gather all the 60-day returns that this stock has had, and then like if it went down from 246, over that time, almost 50%, like we put it in that bucket. And then what we do is we overlay the value of the trade at expiration, and then we just multiply out the probabilities times what the value is at each probability bucket, and you get a distribution value. So that distribution value is pretty low. The distribution only has it worth 484. Our forecast edge, we'll actually look at the volatility right now and which way is it going. We have a regression analysis that does that forecasts short-term, long-term, and skew, and then we make a complete surface, and then we say, well, we have that surface. We're forecasting this iron butterfly, or iron condor, I should say, is only worth 559, but we're selling it for almost $1 of edge, or 12.67% of edge. And that's what I looked at first, Tyler. I'm sorting these by the largest, what we call F percent, which is our forecast value percent, and that's how we came up with that. That we saw that 12.67, or rounded up to 13 here. So that's how that works, Tyler.
Yeah, and I want to go over this a little bit more. So the theoretical values, you've explained how we calculate them. There's a step that happens after we find the top back tests and then presenting the trade due here, and that's the option scanning. So you might be wondering why all these theoretical values are so good. It's because we're looking at all of the possible iron condor trades on IWM that are within that strike range and delta range that the backtest specified. So we do that by option scanning. And so that's, we can kind of dive into it here. So that the option scanner tool, again, you can use it just like the backtest finder, except the trade ideas is basically our system using it like a person would, and looking at this table and running the rank weightings and setting the filters and all that.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Tyler. And we're saving all these steps from people, but you could always go in and do it yourself, right? So I just clicked on the backtest and then scan for options, and then it sets up what we used as our min-max DTEs, as our min-max deltas for the legs, and then all the strike relationships are all automatically put into this option scan. So that's really a nice thing. And by the way, you could save this option scan, and then you could go back to trade ideas and go look in your scanner. So you could always have this there, because sometimes these are fleeting, meaning sometimes these strategies will go away because of the certain indicators aren't in the range that we've optimized for the backtest. So anyway, yeah, what you say, Tyler, is like, then we have, the option scanner is a way to see a lot more of these types of trades. And then you could rank it differently. You could, like I could rank it based on forecast more. And there's some risk reward in the rankings. Again, we look at our other videos if you want to find out more about, how to deal with that ranking. But you could also set min-max filters for a lot of these things. Like, so even liquidity and width, how wide is the market? So this is only 15 cents wide, and most of these are about there. So there aren't any really, really wide markets. That's really tight for a four-leg strategy. So again, this is the option scanner is a place that you can come even within the trade finders if you want to dig a little bit deeper. But again, the trade finder, we've designed that to help you skip this step, right, Tyler?
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about these trade ideas, is that they skip so many steps. So they do the steps on the back end, but they make it so that you don't have to, and you just immediately see those trades there.
Right.
So Yeah, that's the backtest finder trade ideas. What about the curated and the my strategies? What do those do? So those use our new optimizer. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So the curated strategies are strategies that we've gone through and tried to find the best ones that we want to put out there, right? So the way that we put a curated strategy together is we find a good backtest to start out with, but then we go to the optimizer. So you start with the backtest finder, and we said, okay, this is a decent strategy, right? Actually, it doesn't look that good, but when you go and you optimize it, like by clicking here, you can find various indicators that you could improve the strategy. And what we're looking for is a lower p-value. You want it under 20.20, and I like to sort on these. But sometimes you could get them under 10 and sometimes under 5 for our indicator. So that what we do here is I would probably look at, so the slope forecast versus slope. I want to find something that's meaningful, which is to say, with the short put spread, your slope forecast is important. So you want to find something that is, we're putting all our indicators in there, and sometimes you'll find things that, are just maybe not as appropriate for a particular strategy. But a slope forecast versus slope is something that you'll want to, that you may want to use for a particular strategy. So I like to then zoom out, just rolling my my mouse wheel out a little bit, and I can see that. So the green is the using this slope forecast divided by slope. There's a SMA, so it has to be trending in the right direction, and also so the gold or orange line is the short put spread on its own. So what happened to this is, it was a fairly, good performing whenever you see it this far above, like the stock price, for example. It's a pretty good performing test, but when you have a short put spread this wide, it can get stung by the stock going against you. And so like you can see how this particular strategy of getting out when the indicator is in a area that we've specified, you don't lose as much as you did here, and you don't lose as much here. You can see the gap getting wider and wider between the green and the gold. So that's just a quick overview, and we've had other videos on the optimizer, but then you would save this and add it to your backtest, and that's how the curated strategies are made. So we come in and we do that, and we find optimized times to trade these, and then add these to our list of curated strategies. Tyler.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with the optimizer, and we have gone over it in other videos. It's an underutilized tool. I mean, it just came out, so it's going to take some time for people to learn it. But if you can become an expert in using the optimizer, I think that's a great skill to have, because
it also takes a lot of work. But the people that get into it, that's how you differentiate yourself as a trader, and that's how you create your moat, and that's how you create competitive advantage. And that's one of the tools, a little bit more difficult to use, but if you get it, you could do a lot with it. When we designed it took us a while, but like we wanted to make it so it was easy to use, where we curate strategies for people, but also you could go in and get some success, but then you could really dive deep. Like, so you could do a lot more than even SMA. So there's a lot that you could do in the optimizer, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the cutting edge of options research. I mean, the stuff we've done with path dependency in the backtest finder, like overlapping the trades, and then migrating that to the optimizer, and the p-value tests. This trade ideas tab is the culmination of where it just spits out a trade after scanning for it. the scanner itself. So it's combining the backtest finder methodologies with the p-value and permutation testing of the optimizer with ORATS proprietary indicators, and the scanning with theoretical values, and then you're getting the best trade. So it's combining three really novel approaches to finding good trades all in one.
And you could talk to Otto about all these. Like you could ask Otto about all this stuff. Tyler said a lot right there, but anything that you get confused with, Otto can help. Very clear answers. We've trained Otto on everything that we have. And then, when there's something that Otto doesn't get quite right, we go in and train it more on that. So Otto's really good at that. I was asking about special dividends, and Otto did a really good job today. So, Tyler talked about p-values. You could ask Otto about that, and explain any one of these column headers. Otto can help. So yeah. So now I've gone from curated to my strategies. Curated, we send out to everybody. My strategies are the ones that you save. That I've gone in and made these optimizers and saved the strategies, and again, they will only pop up here when there is when all the constraints are met. So that's so that's how that works, Tyler.
Yeah, and if you need like a quick reminder of what some of these tools are, you can click the help button in the top. We've added this button to several other of the main tools pages as well, like the scanners and the analyzer and stuff like that. So if you just need a quick refresher of what each of the tools mean, this is a great way to look at it.
We didn't even need to do the show, Tyler.
Yeah, it's a brief overview, but it's just a quick refresher.
Yeah, no, it's nice. And it doesn't get in your way, so you have to go actually click it. But it's nice that we have that there. So I wanted to point out, Tyler, the difference between my strategies in the trade ideas and my save backtests in the backtest tab here.
Yes.
So do you want to explain that, or you want me to?
Yeah, I can explain it. So the only difference is that our trade ideas system that's displaying the end result trade to you is actually running the scan on these saved backtests. So you see all of your, if you go to the optimizer and click save, or you go to the backtest finder and you click save, those strategies will pop up here. And that's where you can sort of deploy, you can run scans from this table. And this is just a quick way to view all of your strategies all in one page. If you optimize a custom backtest, you'll see it here as well. So this is where all of your optimized strategies are housed, as well as your saved backtest. Those ones at the bottom that say click to optimize, those are unoptimized saved backtests.
Yeah, so my workflow, the way I like to do it is I go find a bunch of strategies that I would probably like to do. And then if I could optimize it, great. If I can't optimize it, I'll just save it in the optimizer, and then it puts it here. And then if you put it here, then the trade ideas will pick it up. So if it meets all the criteria, then the trade ideas will go and show it to you. So I start with the all backtest finder. I optimize, and then I put it in the save strategies. And so that's really worked for me. So that's how I put on my trades. And we have of course a paper trading that you could trade through, but we also connect with Interact Broker Association, of course, Tradier. So that's how I do my trading is I will get a bunch of backtests that I think are good, and then I can look at the individual trades. I go, is this what I need for my portfolio? And then I could kind of sort them down by either our forecast value or p-values or Sharpe ratios. But that's how I like to do it, and it really has made my whole trading a lot easier. I have set some automation based on our backtest too. You could go to different service. We don't do the automation, but other companies can specialize on that. We do the hard part. We find the trade ideas, which is so difficult. And platforms that just have automating trading, they're not doing 1/100th of what is going on here. So this is the hard part, and we make it relatively easy to feed it into like an automated trading platform that are out there.
Yeah, it's crazy the steps that it takes to come up with these validated trade ideas. So I want to touch on the trade journal just a little bit, and then maybe we can put on a trade or a few trades for today.
Okay.
I wanted to ask how you were doing with trading the ORATS curated or your saved strategies.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I have various. I'm up on every one. So I have an automated strategy. I have a firm that does automate, another firm that does automated strategies, but on a longer term with more symbols. And then I have my own strategies that I just put like that I'll pick like this is, which is more manual. So I have two automated and one manual, and yeah, they're all doing fine.
Awesome.
So let's talk about the step before you kind of jump in the deep end is the backtesting, and then to send it to paper trading. So I have some trades on here. I don't use this as much, like all of a sudden like I have stock positions and stuff. So I don't watch this as much because I have live trading, but I should probably close out some of these tests because you'll see that they will affect the trade journal. But yeah, like you said, we have a trade journal, and I could see in the trade journal, like I could go out, I don't know, 3 months, and I could see, okay, well, I could look at just this period, what did well. I could see, what my P&L was for certain things. I had a long call spread in gold, and I could take a look at that trade. I could look at how I'm doing by underlying. So it pulls it up here, like NVDL. I guess I'm not doing too well on that one. What is that? Yeah, well, that's just for that period. It must be off or something. So NVDL, I'm not doing that well. Then I could look at it by strategies. Here's a long call spread. That's the one that we saw for gold, and then the short stock. Again, I didn't get out of short stock probably, and that's what cost me. But so yeah, very cool. I mean, this is a great way to test your strategies and see which underlyings you're doing well in and what strategies you're doing well in, and then that's a good thing to do before you go live with anything.
Yeah, it's great. And you mentioned sometimes getting your trades mixed up. It's going to be great when we have the ability to trade in multiple different paper accounts. And
right.
we're working a lot on making the sort of the forward testing part of these trade ideas easier, right? Because I think we've really nailed the back testing part and generating these ideas, right? So now it's a matter of executing them, right? And forward testing them and tracking your profits and everything like that. So.
Yeah, and we've talked about this on other shows, but you could use exit alerts in your paper trading, and then if you have a brokerage account, you could use those exit alerts that you get texted, to get in and get out of strategies based on what's going on here. So that's really nice.
All right, well that's about time for the show. Do you want to put on a trade real quick?
Yeah, let's do a trade idea. Like again, I'll do that one. Where are we? In my strategies. What was I looking? Oh no, I was looking. Yeah, there's a lot more trades right now. Where am I? Yeah, this is right. So we'll look at a short call spread in PayPal, and so I could click on this. It feeds it to. I could look at it in the trade builder just to make sure that it looks okay. The unfortunate thing is it's past earnings, which I could tell, but still, it looks like it's enough out of the money. and we might want to have an alert before earnings and see if we can potentially get out of this one before earnings. But let's go back to our trade, and we're in the it's 78 cents, so we'll give them a couple cents of edge. We'll force it so we could get it filled there. We could add alert, a time event alert. So I want to know like 2 days before earnings date. And then this is the T-Hub. And I want to exit the trade before earnings. All right. And then so we'll review that, confirm and send it. And then so we got filled, and so we'll get alerted a couple days before earnings. You could also get alerted if it's at a certain profit. So it's a very nice system, Tyler. Awesome job.
All right. Yeah. Good PayPal trade.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt, for making the trade and going over the different trade ideas and the methods that we have to uncovering them. So it's really great. Like I said, there's the backtest finder part of it, there's the optimizer part, and then the option scanner part. So lots that goes into these trade ideas, and there's different options for you to see them there, and you can save your strategies and your scans and everything. So thank you for going over that, and thank you for the trade this week. I'm excited to see how it goes. Thank you, Trader, for hosting us again, and we'll be back again next week.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.